Hello and welcome to the Salesforce Center podcast by MassMailer, where we connect with Salesforce experts, customers, and innovators to talk about smarter, more effective email communication within Salesforce. I'm your host 𝗟𝗲𝗧𝗦𝗍𝗍, co-founder of MassMailer. In this episode, I'll be joined by Robin Henriques from Opel Group, a valued customer of MassMailer. Robin will share his experience using MassMailer for Salesforce and how it has helped elevate their client outreach. Let us dive right in.
My name is Robin Henriques. I am the cloud administrator for my company called Opel Group. And what Opel Group does is that we organize events around the United States. So we have three divisions. We have a finance division, we have a human resources division, and we have a facilities division. These are all event divisions. So every single event is catered to that industry. So whether it's human resources, finance, or facilities, that is, we have a specific sales team that works on those events. And recently, I would say about 2 years ago, we switched over from an older CRM to Salesforce. And one of the issues to answer your second question about challenges, one of the issues that we immediately saw was that we had custom objects that we couldn't send bulk emails with. So for instance, our team heavily works out of leads and contacts, but we have an event registration custom object. And this is where we host all of our attendees that are going to our events. We have all the information from booking to hotel to flights, everything involved with the client. We have it in this custom object. So we have a coordination team and we have a sales team that needs to target these clients from this custom object. And we weren't able to. We had to do a bunch of workarounds and flows and automations to be able to go ahead and be able to tag all of these clients that are in a custom object into our contacts to be able to go ahead and group them and be able to email them. But as this can cause a lot of complications, especially if different processes are dynamic in our company. Also, the learning curve for a lot of our employees, we're used to just being able to go ahead and from our last CRM was to be able to go ahead and say, okay, we have 1,200 people going to this event, let me just email them. And we were able to go ahead and just group them together and send a blast email. And in Salesforce, we were not able to do that. Another issue is visibility. So even with our list email in Salesforce, number one, is very limited. We have 5,000 emails that we can send from the list view in Salesforce, and that is across our entire company. And as you can imagine, we have a bunch of sales reps that are targeting these clients, and we were hitting that limit pretty often. Every single salesperson emailing 200-300 people, by 11 a.m., 2 hours into our workday, we were already at that limit, and that was creating a bad situation for us, as well as again, what I was saying about visibility. We weren't able to get any stats with MassMailer. One of the things that we enjoyed was that we can actually create these campaigns and then look at the analytics involved with that specific campaign, so we can see who opened the emails and everything involved with the analytics. So those were the two main issues. Was our limit, also not being able to send bulk emails with custom objects, and then just getting analytics based on the emails that we were sending or the campaigns. And I think what drove us to MassMailer, number one, was I think previously in our company, a lot of the sales reps were doing cold calls, and as that has been phasing out over the last few years, where people are targeting leads via email, via SMS. So email has become extremely important to us. It's pretty much our main communication when it comes to our clients. People are not picking up phone calls, especially when you see unknown phone calls on your phone. I never pick it up. Nobody ever picks it up, especially when it says unknown. But usually when I open my inbox and I see 10, 15 emails, I can at least skim through the subjects, or let's skim through the emails to make sure that this is somebody that I want to speak to. So emailing has become extremely important to us. So So, and then, along with the email, again, the visibility, now that everything is based on emails, being able to group everything with campaigns and just kind of, we have a data analyst in our team that can go ahead and, perform all the analytics on these campaigns and see, what's going on, what has worked, what hasn't worked, we need to adjust. So that was, some of the trends that we saw that, kind of drove us to MassMailer. And I think with MassMailer, one of the things that was enticing was, number one, it was just easy. It was extremely easy to use over a lot of other options that we had. Number one, it was integrated into Salesforce. So it works seamlessly. We don't have to go ahead and, have a separate platform that, we export these contacts from our custom object into this other platform to email them and, do and perform all the analytics. Our team, again, we want our team to just focus on what they do best, which is sell. We don't want them to have 4 or 5 windows open, this platform there, that platform here. We want everything to be user friendly. So to be honest with you, most of our team members don't even know that MassMailer is not part of Salesforce. It's so well integrated that they don't even know it's a third-party app. It's a native app, but it's a third-party app because, it's just so easy to use. The setup was extremely easy. We were able to go ahead and, make the UI exactly how we want it to be. So when our team members are using, especially the quick feature, which is great, it's just 1, 2, 3, and they're able to go ahead and, group these contacts, send the email in, in a matter of a couple of minutes. So, the easy of use is definitely one reason why we went with MassMailer. The prices were competitive, the seamless integration, and yeah, I mean, it's really been user friendly, and I think that that's the most important part. Even so that usually, we have administrators in our company, IT administrators, and we handle all the back end stuff. And we were actually able to have one of the managers have an administrator account in MassMailer because it's so easy to use. We usually worry that somebody's gonna break something or mess something up, but it's so easy that they can go in there and just pretty much see, whenever they want to add a new user or change a role or change something in the UI, they can go ahead and do that. So, again, these are all the things that drove us to MassMailer and, makes it stand out from a lot of other platforms that, are very back-end heavy. And I think, the features that we enjoy the most, number one, it removes duplicates whenever we send emails. And that's very, very important to us. And the reason why is because sometimes when we throw events, we have 2 or 3 events that are going on in the same exact hotel. So sometimes we have clients that are going to 2 or 3 events at the same time, and we want to send a bulk email for that specific main event. And, we don't ever want to go ahead and send the same person 2 or 3 emails because, this can risk that person not wanting to get any more communication from us, which is going to eventually hurt our sales in the future. The send as feature that we're able to go ahead and send as a different person, sometimes a manager contacts the coordination team and says, hey, can you give my event a quick update on, where they're supposed to be for dinner at 8 p.m. Send it as me, and I want all the replies to go to me. And, that relieves a lot of the workload on their end. And, the coordination team is able to go ahead and take some of these smaller tasks and email certain events under other people's names, which is extremely useful. The quick version, the quick EUI is extremely useful. Again, our team is able to go ahead and, navigate through this UI extremely quickly. It's easy to learn. We had a quick, maybe 30-minute training for our coordination team that handles most of those emails, and they were able to get it. The fact that we're able to remove certain features so that they're not able to see it and confuse them or, make things a little bit more complicated is extremely useful. That's another thing that MassMailer has over other platforms, is that a lot of times you have platforms and, it's just not customizable. MassMailer is extremely customizable, and that's extremely important to us, especially, if we want to be efficient. Again, the end user experience is extremely important to us, and to be able to customize it, to be able to customize the UI, we have a full version and then we have a quick version is very, very useful to us. So, those are definitely some of the things that are very appealing. And, lastly, I think the most important thing, obviously, especially when it comes to, our budget is, how much things cost, because, you can have a great product, but, the value is not there because because maybe it's just too much. But again, the prices are very competitive. And so, just per user, I think is extremely reasonable. But just on the long term, what we're able to do in MassMailer has saved us a ton of time and money. Again, because, we would have to go ahead and create, either a custom program that's going to be able to do this, which is going to cost us a lot of money, a lot of resources. And then, just the maintenance on it would be extremely painful, to be honest with you. So the fact that MassMailer handles all this, back end work is extremely useful for us, and it helps us save money. Customer service has been great. So, doesn't take longer than a day for MassMailer to get back to us whenever we have an issue. So those are some of the reasons why it has saved us a lot of money. But most importantly, above all, is just how productive our team has been. Again, we have a coordination team that has about 10, 12 employees, and that's all they use is MassMailer. They strictly work out of that custom object that we have in our company, and they're constantly in MassMailer. They're constantly looking at the analytics. They're constantly sending bulk emails or targeting these contacts that are going to this event, about their hotel, about their flights, about lunch, breakfast, dinner times, any changes that we need, any last minute changes, a quick 1 minute in the platform, they're able to go ahead and target these contacts. And yeah, I mean, it's been great for us.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for your kind feedback. This is very, very valuable. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Salesforce Center podcast by MassMailer. We truly appreciate your time and interest. If you'd like to learn more about how MassMailer can help you simplify and supercharge your email outreach in Salesforce, visit us at massmailer.io or give us a call at 1-800-297-0991 or send us an email at hello@massmailer.io. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, I'm 𝗟𝗲𝗧𝗦, and we'll meet you again in the next episode of the Salesforce Center. Take care.